Hey, everybody, it's Alan Lowe. We're here in the studio again, and we're doing another candidate forum. Candidates are all welcome to come in. Doesn't matter what office you're running for locally. Come on in, locally meaning Flagler County. So, again, it doesn't matter what office. We do not charge for it. You can come in, do a show, and get your word out. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Darlene Shelley running for office, and she'll get the word out, and you make the decision whether or not you like her. Stand by. And we're back. And so, Darlene Shelley, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. I'm glad you came in. The door was open and you walked through it, which a lot of the other candidates have not done. They haven't reached out or anything like that. And to get the word out of who you are, what you stand for, and what you would like to see done is extremely important. So tell us a little bit of yourself and why you're running.
Sure, I'd love to do that. My name's Darlene Shelley. I've been a resident of Palm Coast since 2012. We moved down, my whole entire family, my husband, Brian, of 35 years, my daughter and her husband and grandson at the time, our son and his girlfriend. And we came to be closer to my mom and dad, who called Palm Coast home for over 30 years.
Uh-huh.
So we would come down for vacations when the children were small and fell in love with it. So my husband and I came up with a plan. When the kids graduated high school, we were going to come to Palm Coast, be close to mom and dad, be by the ocean, and work a few more years and retire in paradise. So that's what brought us here.
And now that you got here successfully, you began to learn a little bit more about the city, and now we see you running for an office. So which office are you running for?
I'm running for Palm Coast City Council, District 4.
District
I
4.
live
And
in
what
the
area is that?
K-section.
K-section.
Yeah, south side of town.
South side. Yeah, you're from the south side.
Yes.
Cool. So you're running for office. What led you to run for office?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Never intended to run for any office. In fact, it's funny how it transpired. My friend Jane was the one who suggested it. Jane Gentile-Yude was very involved with Flagler County politics, and she actually came to my rescue, I'll say, when I did finally get to retire from 25 years in retail operations management with Home Depot. And then before that, I had 10 years experience in our family business. After I retired in 2019, from working 55-hour weeks, 11-hour days, very high-paced retail environment, I was able to have more time to pay attention to what was going on in my neighborhood. I had been involved with getting things fixed that I saw around town, putting in work orders, asking for signage, whether it's slippery sidewalks or trip hazards. I was always doing that because that's what I do. That's what I did in my job. But after I retired, I could see and pay more attention to the orange signs going up all up and down Old Kings Road, where they were proposing zone changes. So, having time, looking into it and finding out what was going on, because we did our due diligence before we moved into our community. I had lived in Hidden Lakes, which is an HOA community off Old Kings Road. Did our due diligence. We looked to see what was around the area. Beautiful Graham Swamp behind, some office and commercial properties all along. Old Kings Road has a wonderful history going back to, the American Indians. It's one of the oldest roads in the country. So we felt very comfortable moving there. Seeing the orange signs go up and going to the meetings and seeing the changes from what we thought we were going to get. We had visions of coffee houses or a place to go grab a sandwich with our guests, someplace we could bike to, maybe doctor's offices where we could go to see a specialist. But they were proposing special exceptions for storage facilities, Most recently, before we moved out, was 4-story apartment complexes in front of the Toscana development, where homes now are, close to $1 million, $800,000 and up. So try to get involved and read the comprehensive plan and the land development use and listen to what the government officials were saying, the development officials, the employees of the city saying, this is compatible. This is going to increase quality of life. And we're scratching our heads saying, no, I don't think it's going to do that. So we rallied the neighbors, and we did knocking on doors, knocked on every single neighbor's door. We had over 1,000 signatures on a petition saying, we don't believe this is compatible with our comprehensive plan. We think this is potentially going to devalue our property values. Old Kings Road was supposed to be widened a decade ago, but they did it anyway. So we just really felt like our voices were ignored, even though we came with facts, saying this is what happens in storage facilities. You have an increase in crime. When the shoplifters steal, they bring their stolen goods to the storage facility. And when you hear that on the news, it's not a good story of what happens at the storage facility. So they approved 4 within a 2-mile area. So I know I'm getting long-winded on this, but that was what brought me into running for city council, because we had kind of an inside joke that we would pour our hearts out, come with the evidence, highlight the comprehensive plan, and the former mayor would say, thank you for your comment.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. So we got tired of hearing thank you for your comment, and really feel it in our hearts that we want to protect everything that is beautiful in Palm Coast and Flagler County.
And that led you into wanting to get into office, get up on the dais, and have your voice and your constituents' voice heard. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I know the feeling. So, who are you running against? Who are your opponents and so forth?
District 4 right now is Mr. Gambara was appointed to that seat. But
he's running for congressional seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
My opponents are, I have 3 opponents now. Originally, I was the only one running, and then Ms. Gallery joined, and then Mr. Caverdes and Mr. Marrero are in my race.
So what makes you, I have to ask, what makes you believe that you are better suited than any of them?
I believe I'm the most qualified for the position. I believe my intentions are pure. I just want to clarify, I'm not anti-growth. In New Jersey, I was a proponent for smart development that would bring good jobs and good careers. I helped get my Home Depot opened where I came from in Forked River, New Jersey. Some of the neighbors didn't want it, but it was in a commercial area. There was 1,000 employees who wanted to go there. So I helped that come to fruition, and that started a lot of careers for friends and neighbors there, and an opportunity for folks to have another great place to shop. I believe strongly that I'm the candidate that is in it for the right reasons, to help protect the safety, health, and welfare of the residents, abide by the comprehensive plan and future land use. I don't believe that we have to make the changes that the developers have been demanding from local government just for higher profits. I believe that we need to protect our fragile environment and ecosystem. Flooding problems are caused by filling in these areas. These areas need to be protected and not sold off for the highest and best use. I don't agree with that mentality, and I think there's a way that instead of saying our hands are tied or there's nothing that we can do, we can embrace what's important to our health, to our home values, to the reasons that we all chose Palm Coast and Flagler County, to say enough is enough and take a stand to protect everything that makes it beautiful.
So you live out in the K section, you said, is your district. So you live out in that area.
Yes.
How do you feel about the way the traffic and so forth on Route 100 has been handled with all the new shops and so forth that are going on out there, since you have to travel past it?
Yeah, State Road 100. Well, I've been saying it to City Council since 2019 when I retired. You're putting the cart before the horse. Said it to them at many City Council meetings and also County Commission meetings. I've been to countless meetings to, pretty much plead our case, kind of try to point out that there's reasons and repercussions from decisions that they're making, other than just trying to appease what the developers want. State Road 100 is, of course, a state road, so it's kind of a little bit out of the hands of local government. But from doing all the research that I've done, they weren't looking at the big picture as far as concurrency and capacity with whether it's water, whether it's wastewater, whether it's traffic concerns. Each development order that comes before them, they were kind of looking at each one in a bubble and not the cumulative effects of the combined approvals.
Right.
So I think that aspect of it was missing. It's a tremendous problem that they have been incentivizing the wrong types of development. I think it's over now, but they were incentivizing density and giving incentives to developers for each apartment unit. That's insane because we don't have the capacity for more density.
Right.
They should be incentivizing light industrial companies to come bring their high quality, good paying jobs so folks can earn a good living. And they talk about affordable housing. What is affordable housing? If you have a great job paying a fair salary, then a $300,000 house is affordable.
Well, they pull on the heartstrings, and that's the way they do it. They keep saying with the affordable housing, it's for your nurses and your firefighters and your police. And they're saying, we need the affordable housing for them. And I don't disagree that people with lower paying jobs need to have availability of quote unquote affordable housing. However, if our firefighters and our deputies and our nurses need low cost housing, the issue isn't that they need low cost housing. The issue is the pay that they're receiving.
Exactly.
So I hate to say I'm personally opposed to the push for affordable housing. I would be more like you just said, and I've always, when I was running for office during my mental breakdown, I pushed consistently for an increase in light industrial, and I used the Hargrove Industrial Park as an example because it has a railroad track and a railroad spur at the end of it that we are 100% not taking advantage of. And we are, 90 miles from Cape Canaveral, roughly, and they're having rocket parts imported from California when we could, headhunt those companies, set them up here, and have them moved down. So I agree with you 100% on that. But now let me ask you another question. So with the development in mind, are you in favor of looking at a moratorium, looking at a quota, or how would you intend to alter the development in favor of economic development?
I think it should be, well, again, this incentivizing of the wrong things needs to end. We don't need any more residential. We have affordable housing already. That's just a talking point. You'll see it all across Florida. That's just developers speak for, let me fill in the wetlands for more apartment complexes or tiny homes. So we shouldn't be buying that rhetoric.
You don't see people arguing for affordable housing on Wall Street.
Correct.
It just doesn't work that way.
Right. And we shouldn't be advocating that in our coastal Palm Coast, because that's the reason we came here, for the natural beauty, for the 300-year-old oaks, for the old Dixie Highway, for the wetlands that are precious. They are our ecosystem that filters our water, recharges our aquifer. They're the lifeblood of Florida. And once it's gone, it's gone.
I agree.
So,
and one of the things that we see a lot of is that, Palm Coast in particular, pretty much all of Flagler County, but Palm Coast, we get our water from wells, the aquifer, right below Palm Coast. And Palm Coast is 7-8 miles from the ocean. The more we pull out from our underground aquifer, the lower the head pressure, if you will call it, of the aquifer against saltwater intrusion.
right.
And I have friends that live closer to the beach than Palm Coast who no longer can use their wells because they're salt water. Palm Coast has recognized this issue, and they want to dig deeper wells and put desalination, reverse osmosis style, more of it online, so that we can use the fouled fresh water with the saltwater intrusion. That's not the answer.
No, and I just did research on that, and that actually is causing a city in Palm Coast not in Palm Coast, in Florida to sink.
Sinkholes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's,
Yeah, you're
that's not
reducing
good.
the head pressure.
And the more straws, per se, that you stick into the aquifer, the more you're reducing that pressure that you talk about, and the more saltwater intrusion you're going to have fouling our aquifer. And then there's talk, and this is true, about injecting the treated wastewater into that.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Duarte is not crazy. There are cities in Florida that are
Up in the
doing it or
Panhandle
trying
that
to
does
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
So she's absolutely right, and we can't allow that to happen. If it is happening or has happened in Palm Coast without our knowledge, that's an even bigger issue. On the news this morning, they are calling for an investigation of a city in Florida for similar accusations, looking into the government to find out exactly what's happened.
Right.
So we can't be messing around with that, because sinkholes are a problem.
Right. And
So,
there's a limit. There's a limit
There's
that
a
we can
limit.
go to, and they're not paying. Now, they did just turn down, the planning and zoning turned down 22,000 units out for this westward expansion. And the rhetoric behind that is a city that's not expanding is dying, which, I don't believe that. But, what they're not saying is, as you expand, you need more police, more rescue, more schools, more of all of these services.
Right.
So it doesn't increase the revenue base for the city. It just stays at either break even or slightly negative, which means property tax increases in order to make up shortfalls. So I'm glad they turned down the 22,000. It's not going to be for long. I'm
they'll be
sure
back
it'll
with
come back.
a new proposal, and
Right.
until they meet their requirements in the original DRI, and at least at a minimum, they have to do that.
Right. But the
And-
problem is they're going to be tapping off the aquifer. So that's 22,000 more homes sucking up water from the aquifer. Somewhere it has to end.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that is, but somewhere it has to end. So let's change subject for a second.
Sure.
Let's go to the one that you don't want to talk about.
Or do I?
Or do, yeah. There we go. The airport. You have been outspoken and about the airport. Not that you're opposed to the airport, but the amount of flyovers from and touch and goes from the schools, and not even in Flagler County schools, out of county schools that are using the airport
The flight
for touch and
schools.
goes, the flight schools.
Yeah.
So give us a little insight on that.
So I want to set the record straight because unfortunately, when I post something factual on one of the social media platforms, I've been kicked off. So I can't even respond to anybody on ND because they removed my personal account, my nonprofit Concerned Citizens for Palm Coast that I started to advocate for public safety, health, and welfare. And those two accounts, I'm banned permanently. So that's off the table as far as setting the record straight. I am not anti-airport. I believe Flagler County Airport could be a great resource for the area to drive things that you were talking about, light industrial uses, for great employment opportunities. The problem comes from poor decisions of our local government. The airport was always a great neighbor. For years, we had no problem with the airport. In fact, have friends who are pilots. I have friends who own planes. I've been up multiple times from the Flagler County Airport, up in helicopters, bi-wing planes, refueling planes. At Home Depot, we had an opportunity to go up with one of our employees who was a reserve person. So she asked me to go up with her team in a refueling mission. So I love aviation. I love the airport. I don't want to see it go anywhere. I just want it to be a good neighbor. I want it to follow their own airport rules and regulations. I want them to comply with FAA safety standards.
Where do you see them out of touch with that?
Well, their own rules and regulations prohibit flying past 10 p.m. The planes are so loud in District 4, in the U section, in the Z section, in double L, in K, and S, so loud that you can hear it through the walls of a concrete home and wake you up in the middle of the night. So when they fly past midnight, you're affecting folks' ability to get sleep.
So are these the schools that are flying past midnight, or just general aviation?
No, not general aviation, because that's not a problem. They come in and they land, and that's it. The flight schools, of course, they need so many hours to get their license, and the schools make money, of course, by how many students they put through. So on average at Flagler, it's 520 flights over our homes and our densely populated retail like BJ's, over the gas stations and propane tanks, over our schools.
520 a day?
A day. And on average, yes. And each one of those little piston engine planes emits lead because they still burn avgas, which still contains lead in 2026.
So you've got, your contention is that there's 520 flights a day on average, and that they're flying past the 10 o'clock cutoff time, 10 p.m. cutoff time.
Yes, and the fact that each and every one of them is emitting lead into the environment, and there is no safe level of lead for our children. The EPA knows what it does to children. In fact, some of them are quite disturbing. Children exposed to lead can suffer from lowered IQ, damage to the brain and the nervous system, learning and behavioral difficulties. slowed growth, hearing problems, and headaches. And adults too can suffer from high blood pressure and hypertension, nerve disorders, memory and concentration problems. So these are known effects. And some of the effects that they believe are caused or can be attributed to lead emissions, autism. And we wonder why our children are having trouble learning, why we're having trouble with fights in school and concentration issues. It's known. They know what's causing it. The problem is each flight school student is paying $100,000 to $200,000 to the flight schools to learn how to fly, and 90% of them are from foreign countries. They're not even from the United States. So they come here on training visas. They pay all this money to learn how to fly. And the direct expense is to the local residents. And the known effects to our children are unacceptable to me.
Well, that's well said. And you have the facts to back it up, which is important. We're about to run out of time.
Okay.
So give us your final stump speech.
Sure. I'm Darlene Shelley. I'm running for Palm Coast City Council because I love Palm Coast. I love Flagler County. I want to protect our environment. I want to protect all the things that we love about our city. I'm not anti-airport. I'm pro-smart growth. I'm pro development that's going to enhance our quality of life, that's going to enhance our property values. I want to see development pay for itself, to be proactive and demand that any infrastructure needs are paid for by that development. I want to listen to my friends and neighbors. I want to protect our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. I want my home to be worth something when I leave it to my family. And I just want beautiful things for Palm Coast and Flagler County. And pretty much that's it.
Well, I don't think somebody could ask for more. So I appreciate it. Once again, any other candidate that would like to come on and put their word out, whether you're an opposition to Darlene or any other office locally, the door is open. You're welcome to come in anytime, and let's have a conversation. In the meantime, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much for getting your word out.
Thank you.
And if you want to come back, the door is always open.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
Things are truly better with us.